Hi, I'm Britt,
And my name is Alissa.
and this is Skeletales.
And this is the podcast where we strive to answer the age-old question of, is my dead grandma watching me?
Alissa, that sounds like the perfect question to ask a psychic. I think we should.
I think we should too.
Tonight, we have on the podcast our go-to psychic of Skeletales, Alex. Welcome back, Alex.
It's great to be back. Thank you so much for having me back.
Our psychic.
Alex, first question of the night. Is my dead grandma watching me?
Yours in particular, or just any dead grandma?
Any dead grandma.
Wait,
Depends
so
on
stranger
how-
grandmas are watching us? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it honestly depends on how nosy she is. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
There are grandmas and beings or old family members that pass that do like to come in and say hi every once in a while or just check in on you. They work as either your guardian angels or anything like that. So she could be. Yeah,
So it's a possibility.
it's a possibility.
So we have a really fun episode tonight. Alissa, what are we doing?
We're interviewing Alex. Oh, it's Ask Us. Tonight, Britt, we are asking a psychic. We're asking Alex the questions that you, dear listeners, have asked us to ask Alex. And so we're going to get the answers.
It's a delightful game of telephone.
Yes.
We ask you, you ask us, and we ask Alex.
We are being
Tongue
the
twister.
middleman to the medium, medium middleman.
So yes, we have a list of questions that have been asked by listeners and also a couple from Alissa and I because we also have questions.
Yes.
So.
Britt told me I'm not allowed to ask any questions that are not on the list. So this is going to be a very difficult assignment for me.
You always break the rules anyways. You ask whatever you want to ask.
Okay. I do what I want.
Okay. Let's jump in. Do you want to ask the first question?
Okay. Going off script, right off out of the gates.
Oh my God, Alissa.
Britt is so mad. But Alex showed us before we hit record here where he keeps his Skeletales mug on his desk. And in his mug, he stores a little voodoo doll. I need to know more about the voodoo doll. Is it somebody? Is it Britt? It's okay if it's Britt. It would be Britt. If I had one,
know?
I would love to chill.
How'd
in a
you
coffee
know
mug.
it's Brit? Yeah, duh. No, not really. So this particular voodoo doll, it was enchanted and handmade by my sister. So it's contrary to believe, not all voodoo is, to put hexes and stuff on someone. They can also offer protection. So the way that we enchanted this particular one, and I named it Billy, because that's just what came to me. Its name is Billy, and Billy sits in that mug every single day, 24/7 pretty much. And so my sister enchanted it, and it serves as a protector. So for example, if someone's like, give me the evil eye or anything in particular that might harm me, my doll is taking those hits for me. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I like it.
I should
It's like
send you guys someone. I'll send you guys one if you're interested.
Oh my gosh.
A doll?
yes.
A voodoo
Yeah,
doll?
yeah.
It's like a force
For real?
field.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
I
But
think
okay.
we need one.
So it's not you though. So someone like gets a hold of your voodoo doll, gets a hold of Billy. They can't like start poking Billy in the eye and give you pink eye or anything.
I mean, technically, it's bound to me, so they cannot use it for their purposes because it's
Okay.
bound to me. But for example, if it's just a regular voodoo doll and that's the intent that they put behind it, then absolutely anyone can do that, to you or me. But this one in particular, it's already sealed to me. It's bound to me and my soul, and it's no one can fuck with it,
Wow.
even if they were tear it apart. Yeah.
That's cool. I
Love
love
it.
that.
Very interesting stuff.
This is brilliant segue to one of the questions I'm going to ask. This is a question that I personally have for you. So a while back, Alissa told a story about a friend of hers who went to a psychic, and the psychic said, you have the evil eye, basically. And the friend is like, well, shit, how do I get rid of it? The psychic was like, well, you can't. You've had it since birth. And so she just has to live with this evil eye. My questions are, one, how do you know you have the evil eye? Do you have to go to a psychic to know? And two, is the psychic right? Can you not get rid of it, or can you get rid of the evil eye?
So those are awesome questions. First of all, I'm going to say right off the bat, it sounds like this psychic doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about, or they're trying to scam her.
Okay.
I'm just being honest. So you, and I don't mean to be disrespectful or anything, but what I'm saying is that there's a lot of scammers out there that tell people, hey, you can't get rid of it to inflict fear on people. You can absolutely get rid of it. There's, you just have to know how. And it's actually quite easy to get rid of it as long as you set the right intentions. For example, let me go back a little bit and answer as to how you know if you have it.
Okay.
So you can go to a gifted psychic or intuitive or spiritual, or a spiritual individual. You can go to someone and they can answer those questions for you. But another way is if you I know it sounds kind of funny, but if you're constantly yawning, if you're itching or seeing bruises or boils on your arms or something, if you are having nightmares and just feeling despair and just fear, anxieties that is out of control, just overall in a funk and you just cannot get out of, you could have the evil eye. So yeah, but you can indeed remove it. It's not there forever.
Okay.
I feel like I've had the evil eye, or
I did kind of think about you when
like you literally did describe, like I had, like, I called it leprosy on my arms. I was very tired. Everything you just said. I had all those symptoms. But no, is it possible to get rid of it, like, without realizing that you've gotten rid of it? Or, like, if I had it, which it would make sense. I can rub people the wrong way. Someone may have put an evil eye on me, but it has resolved. And is it possible that I did something like, okay, better question. How do you get rid of it? And could I have just accidentally stumbled upon the solution or the resolution to it, or maybe the person actively
an accidental removal? Yeah.
Absolutely. So the way you can get it, and I just wanted to throw that out there, is it's not just negativity that can cause it. It can be over admiration too. So envy, jealousy, and even over admiration. For example, like you're doing your podcast and someone's like, oh my God, I love her so much. That can, and it goes back to Islam, and in the Quran, it explains that the evil eye can come from over admiration and, or jealousy, envy, and hatred. So it's not just a negative thing. So it could have been that someone just wished you really well and it was just too much, and you ended up getting it. So now, in order to cleanse it, you could have absolutely just cleansed it without knowing you're cleansing it. The way to get rid of it is to get in a bath, in a salt bath, or in the shower, and just pretending, or not pretending, but imagining that you're cleansing your body. So, for example, you're saying, oh, I don't know what this is. I just wish it would wash off. And while you're taking a shower and scrubbing, that alone can remove it. It's about setting that intention. So magic is all about intention, and setting that intention of, I want to get cleansed. I want to get clean. I want this to stop. That alone could have ended it.
That's very interesting.
So you could have totally accidentally done it. Yeah.
Now, I bought a necklace, the evil eye necklace, that's supposed to help repel the evil eye. Is it even the necklace doing anything, or is it just my knowledge of, like, this is the intent of, removing evil, doing something? Or does that object actually have an effect?
Well, when you're placing that, that particular, for example, if you were to use a rosary, to someone who isn't Catholic, a rosary would mean nothing, right? But to someone who's Catholic and praying on it, you're setting that intent. That symbol itself symbolizes that intent, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So no, it could be, if I see a statue of Jesus, or Buddha, it could do nothing, or depending on the intent and what I believe it does. It's you're putting in that power, you're putting in that energy to it. So that particular, I would say yes and no. It just depends on how you view it. If you view the evil eye as someone that's repelling it, then all of that intent is going to cause it to repel.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So if not, it's just a regular pendant.
Well, friend of Alissa, if you are listening, you can most definitely get rid of that evil eye.
Well, they were saying that they were drawn to, what is it, the hummus or something? Is that like the hand,
Oh,
the little hand?
A Hamza.
Okay,
Hamza.
yes.
Yes.
And that like would repel the evil eye, because that was the whole, we talked about this on the podcast. It's coming back to me now, and we are kind of joking it should just be a single finger where you like just poke the evil eye. Or Britt, your necklace could be getting into a
That's
staring
fucking awesome.
contest with an evil eye, right? It's just like who's got the evil, and that's how it like it just gets paralyzed there, and it can't attack you.
Yeah.
These great solutions. I did, all the things you said, I definitely took some Epsom salt baths. And also I thought I was bringing it upon myself, not when I was like ill with all this. And so like, I definitely did a lot to try to like chill and bring in positivity and everything, just to try to like get rid of the leprosy.
You did it.
You did exactly what you're supposed to do.
I
Yeah,
guess so.
exactly.
My goodness. Oh my God. But
You
also
could be a witch.
Oh, she totally is. 100%.
Oh, yeah.
with this hair.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look at
how
that
could I-
hair. Although you did post a picture recently of you standing around an awesome bonfire real far away.
Real
Not-
far away.
I feel like that was the least witchy thing that you could have done.
I think she did it because of her hair. She didn't want it to like ignite.
Exactly. That's like so many of those funniest home videos, and I say it all the time. It was 100% funniest home videos, or any videos you see people like dancing around laughing and their hair is alight and they have no idea. That is my
Real fear.
worst nightmare.
Blowing the
it's
birthday
burning
candles out
all
for
over,
sure.
and
Yeah.
they're like, haha, this is so fun. Okay, so are we ready for our next question? Are you
I'm
ready,
down.
Alex?
Let's do this. I'm ready.
Okay, so Shannon wrote into the hot box and said, that's our email. That's our really great name for our email.
I love
That's
it.
we got to come up with a better psychic name
No.
for you too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
like it's got to be real.
Maybe we should ask the listeners to come up with a name for me.
Ooh.
And whoever wins, let's do this. Whoever wins, they'll get a little goodie from me. How's that?
Okay.
Alex, well,
Yeah.
I feel motivated to.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So if you guys are listening, you guys, let's pick out a name for me. What are we
Yeah.
going to call me?
Because
But-
Britt was saying like,
I was like in-house psychic, but that's not fun or sexy. All right. Challenge to the world.
thanks, Alex.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shannon wrote into the hot box and said she's remodeling her home. She knows that objects like dolls and paintings can be haunted, but can lumber, like the kind being used for her home, be haunted or have attached spirits or dark energy.
That's an awesome question, and I'm gonna have to say that it's improbable, unless that lumber is coming from a haunted location, or someone has like hexed the wood or something while building the home. Unless it's something along those lines, I'm going to say that it's very unlikely. A certain event or something has to attach to itself. So the way that things become haunted is that, the spirits, negative energies, or just any spirit or energy can attach to it by using it as a vessel. So if this lumber hasn't been used as a vessel, if it hasn't attracted any spirits, then more than likely not. I think that she's pretty safe. Like I said, unless she went and bought lumber from an old haunted house, it's not going to be haunted. I really doubt that.
Like
All
ye
right.
old hanging tree.
Yeah, exactly. If it's something like that, then we
Watch
can
out.
definitely expect, watch out. But
Okay.
if it's just regular lumber, I really doubt it.
Oh
Okay.
man, have you guys heard of the suicide forest in Japan? People are like,
Absolutely.
oh, don't use that lumber.
Don't use that lumber.
Don't
No,
do
because
it.
there's definitely an impact there. It's just concentrated negative energy. And it's funny because that actually came up when I was talking to my sister. I was like, hey, we were in Japan. And I was talking to my sister, I was like, well, we go there and we're like, No, just being around those trees alone, I think would just around that area alone, it would actually just leave an imprint on us that we wouldn't be so fond of
Well,
down the
and you
line.
and the two of you being sensitive too would be like times 100 what an average
I
person would
think
probably
so.
feel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a tourist destination? I have like zero desire to go there. Is that like
It
something
is.
people do?
It
Totally.
is. A lot of places are blocked off. We looked into it, believe it or not. But it's just a lot of places are blocked off. But it is a tourist attraction.
That is because it's like an active spot,
Yeah.
right? Like that people, it's not like some ancient, oh, people used to jump off the cliff here.
In the
No,
past- in the
there's
past,
plenty
no.
of trails for climbing and stuff too. Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, boy.
And hiking. Sorry, I meant
Oh, okay.
hiking.
So it's like a nice, it's a pretty area. So you could find, you could possibly go there thinking, oh, I'm going to go on a nice hiking trail and not realize that it's also the
Exactly.
suicide forest.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That doesn't, that
All right, change of
doesn't sound
subject.
fun. Yeah, don't build your house out of that wood.
Speaking of the dead. Okay, so I've done a couple of Ouija sessions now, and luckily did them safely because of your advice. Thank you for that.
You're so very
In fact,
welcome.
I may have you at the end of this question give some pointers to people because I am trying to remember if I even said them out loud or if I just said I got your advice. Okay, but that's not my question.
If you said them out loud, it's very possible I edited those right out. Choppity chop chop.
Probably.
Yes.
Okay, so while we did the Ouija sessions with Alissa, we had her phone video going, and we obviously were using our microphones. With the one where we contacted Jada, I had an audio recorder. Do having those kind of electronic devices affect the outcome of a Ouija session at all, do you think?
You know, it's based on circumstance. For example, it depends on who you're communicating with. There are some spirits or entities that do not want to speak in general. So I would say for the most part, no. If anything, I think that the the energy coming from those devices could actually amplify the chances of speaking to a spirit, because what they do is, they are energy. They're made out of energy.
Yeah.
So they can drain that energy in order to communicate better with you. So I think it's going to increase your chances other than, decrease the chances. But I think if the spirit, or like I said, the entity or whatever is around that you're trying to communicate with or was trying to communicate with you, if they're shy, they are just not going to speak in general. And I don't think that having a voice recorder is going to affect it. And, voice recorders are excellent because they can pick up things that the human ear cannot. And that's why we see them on all the shows and stuff. I did some paranormal investigating, and we always have voice recorders. It's an essential. If anything, cameras and voice recorders are essential, I believe, in a haunting. Yeah.
Awesome. We're doing it right. Okay. Yeah. Just for anybody who is like, oh, did you have a question, Alissa?
No, it was not a question.
I was going to say, anybody who's like curious to do a Ouija board, but they're really scared and really nervous because they don't want to have that negative demon attached to their back, or they don't want to like do it wrong. And then, the hells of fire open up at their floor and they're sucked in. So what would be some pointers, just bullet points that you could give the listeners of like the correct way to do it?
Okay, well, first of all, if you are terrified of using it, I would say don't use it, because you're going to be inviting something that you don't want. You manifesting that energy and that fear. Anything negative will pick up on that fear, and they will take advantage of it because you are so scared that you're allowing things in. So if you are absolutely unsure and afraid of doing so, just don't do it. But if you are someone who's confident enough, don't get cocky either. You have to have respect for the entities. They were people too at some point. So you do have to have respect for that. Also, always either say a prayer, cleanse your space, have a white candle if you can. You know, I wouldn't do it alone, especially if it's your first time. Don't ever do it alone if it's your first time. I would, like I said, make sure that you're confident enough to do it. Always say hello, thank them for the time, say goodbye, be respectful. Don't ever ask when you're gonna die. And that's just a no question. You might get answers, but I just think it's not that it's inappropriate, it's just very bad juju. You don't want to do that. So don't ever ask them when you're going to die or when a family member or whatever is going to die. Don't ask questions that you wouldn't like to hear the answer to.
Yeah.
You know, so let's stay away from that. But make sure that it's a safe location. If you're going to do it in your home, make sure that you absolutely cleanse your space afterwards, and always say goodbye and close out. That's with anything though, tarot readings, anything. Make sure that you always close out, say goodbye, thank them, because you're opening up a portal. These are just tools, you know, that help you get these entities from the other side to communicate with you. So if you don't close it, they're gonna start running amok, you know. So
who knows
make
what
sure
you're
that
letting
you do
in.
that.
Okay.
Exactly. So just be very careful and have respect for them and respect for the board.
Hypothetically speaking,
Here we go.
I have a tarot deck and I will like kind of set a tone and I will like do a card pull, a single, like that's what I've been doing for myself. Like I will, you know,
that's awesome, by the way.
Focus, do a single card pull. But I don't say goodbye. I'm like, okay, I take it. And I wrap my cards back up there in like a little dark handkerchief. It's not a handkerchief. I don't know. It's a little thing that came with them. But I don't say goodbye. Am I inviting something in?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, but you are, when you're putting them away, I'm saying you're not just leaving them out and stuff. When you're putting them away, you're intentionally done with them, correct?
Yes.
So you're putting them away. So I guess I should have been a little more clear. But if you're doing an everyday pull, yeah, you're exactly, you're putting them in bed. So you're saying, hey, okay, I'm done. You leave that intention, but you don't just go and do a bunch of pulls, like, you know, pull a bunch of cards and you're like, all right, cool, bye. And you know, you don't leave them out. You don't leave them. You're pretty much, like you said, putting them in bed and putting them away. It's all about setting the intention. And I think you're fine.
Okay. I have a question regarding the Ouija board though. Is it rude to ask the spirit how they died?
Not necessarily, but it's up to their discretion if they want to answer or not. So
Okay.
I don't think it's rude. But if you're asking like for a million details and stuff, you have to understand it's like, pretend you're talking to a human being, you know. Would you be like, hey, how'd you die? Did you get shot on the head or did you get stabbed to death? How was it? Did it hurt? Like, you know, don't go too much into detail and stuff, but you just have to show respect. But you can ask that.
Okay.
I just but you know, I mean, how much more deader can they get?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not like you can print bad juju onto them. So
got it. Okay. Did you get all your answers? Britt, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm good. That was like perfect. I feel really I feel like next time I'm gonna have like 2 cameras with me and a couple of recorders and like bring that energy.
Ooh. Yeah, I would. They can drain that. They might drain one of your batteries. So having an extra of everything or extra battery pack is awesome. Like, do it. I recommend that.
Love it.
I recommend that.
Yeah. Oh, when we did our Ouija session, we weren't getting much, and then the sun went down, and it was like dark, and it was like showtime. Like as soon as the sun set and it was dark, the spirits came alive. The board came alive. Like, can you do a Ouija session in broad daylight? Would it even work?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It also just depends on the type of location that you're in. If it's a real haunting and it's just like swimming with activity, absolutely, you can do it in broad daylight. I've seen things and experienced things during broad daylight. Yes, it's for some reason they just like communicating more at night because it's quieter, it's more still. It's like, you know, like they're hiding and then they just come out and feel more free to do that. But just the energy the moon has a lot of energy as well, and I think that has a lot to do with it. I can't answer all of those mystical questions, but I just, I can just give you just my opinion based on what I've experienced and such. So
Okay, that's interesting.
That's
We weren't
brilliant.
at
But
a
you
zoo.
can.
The moon.
So,
did
for
it.
example, if you go, the moon did it. Yes. No, but for example, if you were like, let's say at just a very haunted hotel, or like, if you went there and you're middle broad like daylight, you can get readings. You can, experience a haunt. It's just all about the location and the entities and when they like to come out. So
Interesting. Okay. So our next question is crystal balls. Do psychics actually use these? If so, how? And can I use any old crystal ball, or do I need a magic crystal ball?
So this is probably my favorite question yet. It's awesome because as a kid, as I was discovering, my abilities and stuff, I wondered the same thing. And so I actually have a little crystal ball too. I'll show you guys later. It's behind the scenes stuff kind of thing. It's not necessarily the crystal ball that is magical in itself. So what it is, so what they do, it's called scrying. So what the person reading the crystal ball is trying to look at images and see maybe like little hints or messages from the future. So they can do this. There's people who do scrying, and they can do this with fire, water, crystal quartz, very clear crystal quartz, and there's a type of glass that has a lead base to it, and it has this sort of reflection to it. So what they do is they're really just seeing messages. They can also do this with mirrors, and so the whole process, it's not that they're actually reading the crystal ball or that the crystal ball itself is powerful. It's the person doing the scrying, and the scrying is being able to see images, images or like little, how would I explain it? Like little like scenes, like little movies in their head, just like of the future. They don't do it so much for like past lives. It's just to be able to tell fortunes. So all it is them looking into reflection, looking for those images and looking for those signs. If that makes sense.
Oh, that's fascinating. So fascinating. First of all, that it's only used for future readings, not
Yes.
looking into the past, only the future.
Yes.
And I have never heard of scrying before. This is so fascinating to me.
Yeah, there's some psychic readers that read fire. They read flames. And it's something that I haven't personally intended before, but I would love to. But I do have a crystal ball, and what I do is I just like really just focus, kind of like when I'm seeing someone's aura, just really focus on it, like hyper focus on it. And if I see any messages or something comes up, anything visual, just anything at all, I'll use that and, for my readings.
So it's not really a conduit. It's like a movie theater screen of sorts for
kind of
readings,
yeah,
right?
it's you're seeing those visions, you're seeing signs, you're seeing messages, and it's and like I said, you can do it with water, you can do it, but it has to be like still water, anything that you can get a reflection out of.
Okay. So it's not just a
reflection.
trope. It's not like just something from like the movies and stuff. There are actual psychics, there are fortune tellers who use
There are
a
fortune
crystal ball.
tellers that it's called scrying. What they're doing, the method of their readings is called scrying.
Scrying.
And it's
I
been
love
practiced for thousands of years. I mean, ancient Egypt, we're talking about like, in China, we're talking everywhere. This is something that's been around for hundreds of thousands of years.
Oh, that's awesome.
I love that because I also just like the imagery of a crystal
Me
ball.
too.
It's just kind of
Me
fun
too.
and sparkly, So I'm happy to know it's like not just some bunk thing.
Okay. I have another question. Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
Lori writes in. She says, I've been listening exclusively to paranormal podcasts and watching paranormal and horror movies. while I'm alone in the house. The question is, am I basically inviting a spirit or demonic presence to show up by doing these things?
Not necessarily. Again, it's all about like, and I know I keep saying intention. I'm going to be called Alex Intention, but it's all about intention. I mean, I watch scary movies and forensic files every night before bed. Like I will watch them as I'm falling asleep.
Yes.
It's and I live a pretty relaxed, easy lifestyle, and it all is about, like I said, if there's a haunt in your home, but you're not necessarily inviting anything. There's some horror junkies out there, and they sleep like babies, and they have no activity in their home. So again, I think that it actually has to be a haunting or something. You purposely, doing a Ouija session or just energetically inviting those entities and spirits into your home. But just by watching a movie, I don't think so. I mean, it might give her the heebie-jeebies and it might give her nightmares, but I think that's just because your brain is trying to process all that. But I don't necessarily believe that it would be inviting anything in her home.
When I watch a scary movie, which is rare, by the way, because I get real scared, I am always seeing shadows. I'm like, in that corner, right? There's something there. Oh my, did it move? I'm constant because I'm already in this higher state of fear. Is because, I mean, like that fear energy, would that bring about things, or I'm just like a loon and should not watch scary movies anymore?
You're mad. I'm just kidding.
Perfect answer.
No. What I honestly think is, in my personal opinion, I believe that it's just your paranoia, dude. Like, it's just you kind of overthinking it. It's like, for example, when you go to a car dealership, you go off and buy a white car. All of a sudden, you're seeing white cars everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those things. You starting to pay attention to things. Like, on any day, you're like not seeing anything in your home. You're like, oh, cool. It's just a tree. It's just a jacket on like a coat hanger. But all of a sudden you see the actions, you're like, oh shit, it's that bitch. She's gonna come haunt me. It's like it's
overactive imagination.
That's exactly what it is. It's overactive imagination. I don't think you're actually inviting anything. It's just you.
That's good. That's it. That makes me happy, actually. I'm glad for that answer.
Yeah, because I've been pretty freaked out. Editing the podcast, like editing our Ouija session and editing Britt's like EVP she caught. Like I don't get freaked out all the time, but those couple of things where I'm listening to like raw audio of an experience, I start to get pretty freaked out. I'm like, I
need to send you some videos and some audio of the stuff that I caught.
I want to.
Yes.
Did you hear Britt's the one that she got at the Kansas City hotel?
No.
It is insane. It is like, it is so clear and it's so freaky. And oh my God.
I'm awful at understanding him. And that one came in clear as a bell. Yeah. So yeah, perfect little like, go listen to that one at another time, but stay here for now because we have another question. Is it mine?
Okay.
Oh, it's your question.
So the next question is, Katie and Adrian are curious, when doing a psychic reading, are you able to see or know information about someone's past lives?
Oh, 100%. There are some, I actually have a deck specifically for past life readings. And I actually believe that past life, understanding your past lives, it actually has a lot to do with your life now. So the way it is that in every life, you're trying to better yourself, and whatever traumas you had in your past life, you could be trying to work through this one. So for example, I'm going to share what I was told about mine. So in one of my past lives, I was a nobleman, and I was kind of the center of attention. And this is pretty much what she told me. And very famous, very trusted psychic too. What she told me is like, in this lifetime, you kind of like the center of attention, but you shouldn't be the center of attention, and that should be okay. she just pretty much said, like, work on your ego. And since I started doing that, my with my spirituality, my readings and everything's gotten so much better. And it's like, it's okay to not be the center of attention. So for example, my past life was, I was that. Now in this lifetime, I'm working on this. So yes, it's possible. And I think it's imperative for people to know about their past lives so they can really work on their traumas and work on things that they need to for in their future, their next life, they're a little better off. That makes sense.
It does. It makes perfect sense. I kind of want to, would somebody come to you and say, today, I just want to talk about my past life. And then you would just
yes.
do a past life reading?
Yes. Or it could be that something comes up. So for example, spirit is, either your guardian angels or your spirit guides, whoever, your higher self. Spirit is all in one kind of thing, and whatever spirit decides, you could be just doing a regular reading, and it could be that spirit has something to say from past life, but it's a little more rare. Usually we focus on the present, and unless you're doing past life reading, like I said, but we usually focus on present and future when doing readings. But people can come in and say, hey, I want to know about my past lives, or do I have any past lives? And there are people who are old souls. And when we say that, it's because they've lived more lives than the other person. And usually people who have not lived as many lives, they're a little more naive, a little more immature. They're not as good with money. They're not, or things like that. And it's just, but I think your past lives have a lot to do with the person that you are today. So
I love that. I mean, it does kind of make sense to me.
Yeah.
It does. Britt and I have joked that no one tells us we're old souls, and we really wish they would. Really fishing for that.
I know. It's true.
But what you're saying about like this life is about bettering ourselves or healing from the trauma or learning from our past lives,
and
like
helping others. Yes.
Evolution in general. We should just be getting better and evolving as a human species, right? Like if that's the case, and just hopefully, and there have been a lot of great leaps forward in humanitarian efforts and everything. There have also been some very stagnant areas, but overall, like things have improved for us overall over the years, right?
I think so. Yeah. And it's only going to get better. There's some downfalls, but it's about balance. They can't be good with that. That's why the Chinese believe in the yin and yang, and it's because there has to be some balance with good and bad. It can't just be black or white. There's a lot of gray area, and the more you understand that you're okay with that, the better, the more you'll be able to move forward. That's not just one way.
So this kind of segues a little bit into this next question. So Julie and Lindsay both want to know that if you're able to use your abilities on like a large scale level, like for example, were you able to predict the pandemic or any war or even large scale financial stuff? Like, can you predict if Bitcoin is where we should be investing our money? Like, obviously, like on a person to person basis, you have those senses and feeling, or energies or whatever. What about a large scale like that?
It's definitely possible. So a great example of that is Nostradamus. If you believe in that stuff, Nostradamus was known to, for example, supposedly predict like the whole attack on the Twin Towers, and Trump and all these other different things. He was able to predict all these things, and those were all predictions, and that's what fortune telling is. It's predictions. But I myself, it was very interesting. But I had this dream where I was at this bar, and all of a sudden I went in the bathroom. There's a bathtub, and it was filled with water, and all of a sudden it blew up in flames, and all of a sudden it spelled out LA. And that's when all the fires a couple of years ago, they were really, really bad. So I actually had that dream 3 days before that all happened. So it's actually very possible. As far as But as far as the whole Bitcoin thing and winning the lottery, I think that if someone gets lucky enough, yes. But when it comes to financial gain and just gain in general, like personal gain and greed of any sort, I just don't think it works that way. And it's kind of, it could be one of those random things. Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I'm on board.
It's all about the intention. But I don't think that it's when it comes to like self gain, greed, and financial gain. That becomes very tricky. There's some people that, there are some psychics out there that are like, that are scammers that say, oh yeah, I can predict what the lottery numbers are today. Pay me $1,000 and you'll be a millionaire. There are going to be people who claim that they can, but I think that it is possible. It's just like you said, about the intention. I didn't say it this time.
That's right. I said it. So with those things, it's just what happens to come to you. It's not that you're out, meditating and you're like, tell me about the diseases that are coming my way. Yeah, like,
exactly.
It's
that's
just
a perfect way to put
what
it.
decides to appear to you.
Yeah,
is what you see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so our next question is from S, and she says that her apartment has been showing signs of being haunted. Her roommate has been pushed. The previous tenant had deep scratches mysteriously appear on them. They're messing with the lights and seem to be more active when the house is dirty. S doesn't mind having the ghost there, but wants to make sure they remain friendly with her. How would she go about befriending her ghostly roommate?
Keep your house clean. That's definitely one. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm just being honest. Like, obviously there's something that's triggering this particular spirit, this particular entity. So keeping your home clean. But the whole, it being kind of is being a little aggressive. I wouldn't give it too much attention. I would acknowledge it and say, hey, you stay over there, I stay over here, and we're cool. But definitely it could be, and it's weird because I sense like an older female. It could be one of those people who just really like their home tidy. And it could have been someone, more than likely someone that already lived there, and they still see it as their home. They don't necessarily understand the concept that they've passed and that it is no longer their home. So essentially it's like, hey, you're in my home, you're making a mess. Like, that's not cool. I'm going to push you. So, it's just essentially just kind of like keep the house clean and, communicate to say, hey, you're cool. I want to just coexist. I respect you, respect me. And that's it.
Would they need to like out loud verbally say like, hey, I acknowledge you're here. I'm going to try to keep the house clean. Hey, like when they come home, they put their keys in the correct spot and they're like, hello, ghost Fran.
I would say it out loud, for them to hear, obviously they can sometimes sense your feelings, but saying it out loud for them to hear and for you to just show them that you're acknowledging them. That's probably the best way, saying it out loud, because in your voice, it sends out, your sound sends out hertz and they kind of pick up on that. So I would say it out loud and, just communicate, like I said. And another great way is you can smudge, you can use either sage. You can burn lavender, rosemary, incense, anything that will smoke up, because smoke is what cleanses the area. It attaches that negative energy, that negativity attaches to the smoke, and the smoke. Make sure you open windows though. Don't just let those demons and stuff run amok.
Yeah. Okay. Open the windows. Oh, that's good information.
Yeah. Smoke that shit out. Smoke that shit out.
Did not know that part. I mean, honestly, if this spirit can be scratching and physically pushing people, they could be folding some laundry. They could be doing some dishes.
Right?
Yeah, let's do this together.
Yes.
I'm
clean together.
I'm like, I'm not going to stop you from cleaning, ghost, but that's some good motivation though too.
Let it like
Fran can come here.
Use the vacuum as a vessel and just kind of vacuum. Home on its own, just like.
I love this idea so much. Just a rogue vacuum cleaner traveling around your house. Like, that's just my ghost. Don't mind. Like,
Yeah, just don't mind.
Hell
Just
yeah.
clean it. It hates a messy plate.
yeah.
Just clean it for me.
So
Fucking
good.
dishes are being washed by themselves, and that'd be a
wish.
sight to see.
It's
Right?
very
I know.
Disney movie like in my mind right now. It's ghosts, maybe a few birds flying around. All right, I've got a question. Alice wants to know if spirits can follow you home from a funeral home or cemetery.
This is such a great question. Yeah, they absolutely can.
Damn it.
So, and it's interesting. So I actually learned from my brother-in-law that so he's Armenian, right? And so we went to go visit his grandmother one time at Noritsa, may she rest in peace. And we went to go visit her, and there was like faucets and like water fountains, like faucets in sorry, not water fountains, but faucets in a cemetery. And when I was like, why is there so much running water around here? And he's like, okay, well, in my culture, if you go and visit a cemetery, you pay whether you pay respects or you just come in or whatever. If you don't wash your hands before you go, spirits can follow you home. So we always, now whenever we go visit my grandpa, may you rest in peace, we always wash our hands. So now it's become a habit. So it's very much a cultural thing, but I believe they can. And so once again, it's all about intention. Again, when you're washing your hands and stuff, you're cleansing that energy off of you. You're getting it off of you. So it's definitely a cultural thing. But in my belief, and this could be just my biased opinion, but I definitely believe that they can. So, but most people that claim that they're being followed home, they're either at cemeteries, funeral homes, or haunted locations. So it's just any place where there's a lot of energy, and there's going to be a lot of energy in a cemetery. So it's like.
So in short, wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands if you're at a cemetery or a funeral home.
Well, that feels like an easy solution to the, spirit, like trail of spirits following you back into your home.
Yeah, I think so too.
Do you on that same similar note, as far as we've heard a lot of stories now about people right after someone dies, they will appear to them. There's a burst or something will happen and they'll come or they'll think, well, grandma just called me. What do you mean she died? I just talked to her or something like that. And those right after someone's death, there's a visitation of sorts. And then after that, nothing. What's that all about? What's up with that?
So that's actually interesting because that actually happened to me, and I had not lost anyone that was very significant to me until I lost my grandfather. And I'm only using all these examples of my personal experiences because what better experience to explain but my own. Yeah. And so the night he passed, I was sitting, I had my phone down, and we were just kind of waiting for the phone call. And I had left my phone out in the living room, and I was just like, whatever, I was just done. I was just, obviously really upset. I was sitting up in bed with my fiance, and all of a sudden I saw a white orb light go in front of me. We were just watching TV, clear as day. And I felt this really tight, hug, in my chest. And then somehow my brain just said, oh, he's gone. And I ran to the living room and I looked at my phone and I had 6 missed calls from my sister, my mom, my grandma, and he had passed. So wow. I believe that it happened, something similar happened with my great grandmother as well. And I think that what they do is just saying, hey, they're saying their goodbyes. They really are just saying goodbye to the people closest to them, and then they go off. And if you do not hear from them again, it's because they're definitely resting. They don't have any unfinished business here, and they're just. They can come in and check in on you, but that means that they passed on and they're happy where they're at. So,
which is what you want for them,
Exactly.
You want them to be happy and not
exactly
linger around. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Oh, that's
So,
beautiful.
yeah, and it happened to me. At first, I didn't necessarily comprehend that concept, or it's like, how? It's like, how do you explain that? How do you even comprehend that? And what's even crazier is that it happened to my cousin too. It happened to a couple other people. We were in completely different cities, and we all share the same story. We sit down, when we
With
were
your
doing this.
grandfather?
Yeah, it happened. Yeah, it was
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
What
But
was your cousin's experience?
same thing. She was in bed with her husband, and her name's Daisy. Uh, so my cousin Daisy and her husband Frank, they were sitting up in bed, and all of a sudden she felt a thing. It's like super tight chest, and she got up, like shot up, and she's like, "Oh my God, he's gone!" And then she looked at her phone, and she saw text messages.
They knew.
So it was just like, yeah, they just knew. Yeah, it was insane.
When my great grandmother passed, there was I wasn't alive, but there was a story in our family that like the clock stopped everywhere. Everyone's clock stopped at the moment of her passing, like in Buffalo, like others, all around New York, basically,
Wow.
and everyone's houses, the clock stopped at the moment of her death. And just one of those things. So I don't know if there's a hug, but just that burst. Very interesting.
This is a strange phenomenon. I've been reading more and more about these stopped clocks and why, it's perplexing.
Yeah. Lots of stories like that.
Your next podcast should be on that.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Cliffhanger.
Okay, my question for you, Alex.
Yeah.
Spirit
I'm ready.
animals. Do people have spirit animals? Is that like a real thing, or is that just something like people want to be a wolf?
My brother is obsessed with wolves. He loves anything that is wolf related. I love cheetahs. I don't know why I love cheetahs. I just love them.
Because you're
Is
fast.
you're
I am not fast.
Maybe she just like Cheetos. I don't know.
I do.
But do you
why?
think people have spirit animals? Is that a thing, or is that just like a pop culture sort of something that has like?
No, absolutely not. So I'm part Native American, and in our culture, so in our culture, they are definitely a real thing. So spirit animals not were only guardians, but they also kind of describe a lot of our personalities, a lot of of who we are as individuals. So spirit animals are definitely a real thing. And psychics can also find that out for you too. There's people who dedicate specifically on that, and they serve as guardians. They serve as like I said, just overall protectors. And but it's definitely a real thing. Whether you believe in that or not, it's that's on you. But it would make sense why he's like, I'm obsessed with cats. I don't know why.
I was just about to ask, what's your spirit animal?
My spirit animal is actually an owl, but I've been obsessed with cats forever. So maybe poor example, but yeah, no, it's an owl. It really does just explain a lot of. You have to understand that it's in the spiritual realm, it's not necessarily an actual animal, it's just the form that it takes. And based on this animal, it's based on the personalities of that spirit and what you may need in this life, or just the way that it's whatever contract you signed before you've been born with this spirit. And, it just manifests itself as this creature.
Interesting.
So it can be anything. And it's more about it chooses you. So your brother, who's obsessed with wolves, he didn't choose wolves, they chose him. And it could say a lot about his personality in itself too.
Yeah.
So, but you're saying,
Alyssa, what are you drawn to? What animal are you drawn to?
But it sounds like even Alex is drawn to cats, but his spirit animal is an owl. So I could be obsessed with owls, but my spirit animal could really be like a blobfish.
Or,
right?
Yeah. Goldfish, it could be. And we also have
too.
Also, for example, there's people who have pets that have passed and stuff, and they actually come back as your spirit animal too. So I think that's what happened with me, and that's why I'm so obsessed with cats. And you don't just have one spirit animal, you can have plenty. Because again, you've lived multiple lives, and you don't just have you can have more than one. For example, you have different guardian angels, spirit guides. You don't just have one. one. It's very rare that you just have, but there's one that is kind of like concentrated one, and it could change throughout your lifetime as well, depending on what you need during that time.
And
that
like
period
how
of
many
your
pets
life.
you've had. Like Britt's killed a lot of pets. Like so many pets.
Hey, killed is not
Just in
the
the
word.
time we've
I
had
was
this
gonna say
podcast.
it's killed.
I just
Yeah.
choose pets that don't live very long.
High turnover
Like
rate.
goldfish?
Peach, may you rest in peace.
There's
Oh.
been
My rat.
Speckles. There's been Goldie. There's
I didn't even tell you
Was
about
Goldie a
Mrs. Featherbottom.
goldfish?
No, it's a chicken. Mrs. Featherbottom's gone too.
Did
I didn't
you
even
eat it?
tell you. No, I love my girls. No. But I do choose animals that do not live very long, which is quite sad.
okay. Well,
I need a turtle. Can that be my
or a
spirit animal?
tortoise, right?
Yes,
They'll
a
outlive you. They'll
tortoise.
be
Yeah.
at your funeral.
Yeah, yeah. Parrots live a long time, right? Ugh, I don't want a parrot. Fuck that. No,
No.
They're annoying.
not my spirit animal. Okay, I have a final question. Melanie wants to know if a psychic can tell her if she's going to be successful.
Okay, so definitely. I mean,
Oh, did you
Yeah,
hear that,
so-
Melanie? You're definitely going to be
So-
Stop
successful.
talking out.
Well,
Hard stop. Yes.
Congratulations, Melanie.
Please.
okay, we're gonna leave
continue
it
on.
at that. I know. So, it's a psychic can definitely, someone who's intuitive can definitely tell you whether you're going to be successful or not. But there are some psychics that, for the money do fluff everything and say, oh yeah, you're going to be a movie star, blah, blah, blah. You're going to be a millionaire and this and that. They're going to fluff you up quite a bit. And that's also possible. But yes, I mean, there's very minimal stuff that is kind of off limits, and that just depends on the person that's doing the reading. But yeah, people can look into your cards and see whether I've actually gotten readings to see, about my business and about my career in general. And I've gotten readings on my career, just period. And so it's definitely possible. A psychic can definitely tell her whether she's going to be famous or not.
Ooh, brilliant. Love
Yeah.
that. This is a perfect segue. You talking about your business. Should we do a plug, Alissa?
Yeah. I mean, Mitch did have that question about paying taxes and bills. I asked my husband, I was like, do you have any questions for a psychic? He's like, how do they know when to pay their bills? They probably don't even need reminders. I was like, what is this? It was the boringest. I have no idea.
you
It was a
can
very
ask-
wasted.
To
Anything
answer
in the
Mitch's
whole-
question, we're all still human.
Okay.
That's why I have all my shit on auto pay, because I forget everything.
All right.
Yeah.
So just auto pay everything and I don't have to worry about it. Just make sure there's money in my account.
Yeah. So we saved the best question for last there. He's going to be very interested to hear.
Yeah, because he listens to every episode.
Oh my word. But yes, so your business, Alex, please take the opportunity. Tell our listeners, remind them, our new listeners who haven't listened to your past episode before, what you do and where they can find you and all the good stuff.
Everything.
Awesome. Thank
Everything.
you so much. So I am a psychic reader, intuitive. I do energy healing, sound healing. I do all like fun stuff. Been working on a lot of taxidermy art. So you can find me at Third Eye Alley Cat. That's my TikTok, and my Instagram is Third Eye _Alley Cat. And my website is www.thirdeyealleycat.com. So you can find any info on events and stuff like that. I do a lot of events on the West Coast here, and have some really cool ones coming up, like the Globe Theater, which is super haunted. It's in downtown LA. And we're going to have burlesque dancers. We're going to have live music. There's going to be 3 floors of just live entertainment, some really cool stuff. It's being run by the Witch's Brew. We're just going to have a lot of cool events this year. So just stay tuned.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I know that you have an extensive crystal collection, and you're talking about taxidermied animals, which is incredible.
That perked our ears right up.
Super into that.
I want to see
But what other things do you have?
We just talked about how
Hold on, I have to see that. You
this
did
is
that?
my alligator. No, I did not do this. I don't. I actually buy the pieces. I don't actually work with the animals. I don't have the heart to do that.
It's a lot of, from what I've read, it's a lot of work and a lot of chemicals.
It's a lot of chemicals, and so I just don't do that. What I do is I do a lot of pieces. Like, for example, I go antique shopping and I find a bunch of frames, or I find a bunch of like lanterns or stuff like that where I can put bats and just skulls of different things.
Yes.
And I just just go on my Instagram. You'll be able to see a little bit of my art there.
Ooh,
So.
perfect.
So yes, please everybody go check out Alex's everything. The Instagram, you have like so many beautiful pictures on your Instagram, all your potions and just all sorts of goodies. So you're missing out.
And if you're in California, please go to these events. I'm super jealous that I'm not closer, so I can go them.
Actually thinking about going to Vegas and stuff and branching out a little bit. I think there's one in Phoenix that I want to do, so stay tuned. I might be touring all over the US in the next couple of years. So
nice. Coming to
I'm
a
excited.
state near you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, real quick, if you have any stories or even additional questions that you want to ask Alex, you can always email us to our hotbox. Yeah.
I did it.
At skeletalespodcast@gmail.com. You can also call into our hotline, the Skeletales hotline.
302-689-DEAD, 302-689-3323. And we're on the social medias, but we're not going to plug that because this is all about Alex tonight. You have been incredible. We've been throwing you curveballs, ridiculous questions left and right, and this has been a treat. I've had a blast. I love it. Thank you so much, Alex.
No, thank you. I hope we can do this again in the future.
Absolutely. We'll have
100%.
our Skeletales psychic. No, that's not coming. I'll work on it. We'll work on it. We've got, so again, hey, let's remind everyone, if you can come up with some clever name for Alex, like not our in-house that sounds very medical, like some sort of fun, like sexy, like fun name, like maybe
let's do
like
it.
Hotbox hotline.
And so I'll send you guys one of those voodoo dolls and a t-shirt.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
So whoever wins, we'll take a vote on it. We'll take the best like four like names that people can come up with, and we'll do something. We'll do something cool.
We'll
oh my god, I love this.
I'll ship some cool shit out to you guys.
I'm so excited.
All right, guys. One last thing I want to tell you guys.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what is it?
You ready?
Yeah.
Haunt y'all later.
Hunt you later.
Hunt y'all later.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.